Year 6. Today in maths, we're going to be revising one of my absolutely favourite topics because it combines my enjoyment of both maths and history. We are going to be learning about Roman numerals. For today's lesson, please make sure you're completing your work on a piece of paper. Make sure you're watching the whole video, please, and don't forget to do your morning arithmetic and reasoning. I'm going to share my screen with you now so that you can do that morning arithmetic and reasoning. Anybody who doesn't complete their morning arithmetic and reasoning, it's fairly clear to your teacher that you haven't watched the video. Please can you pause the video now and have a go at answering those first 6 questions to get your brain working in the maths mood this morning. Okay, you should have paused the video to answer these 6 questions. If you haven't done that by now, please make sure you're doing it. You need to make sure your morning arithmetic is completed independently every single day. I'm going to show you the answers now, so please make sure you're ready to mark your work. Okay, so most of this was pretty self-explanatory. Just remembering with question 2, if you're multiplying a decimal, pretend there's no decimal for a moment and then you need to add it back in at the end. So in the question, there was 1 digit after the decimal. So in my answer, I want 1 digit after the decimal. For the rest of them, question 5, just making sure you're lining up that decimal point. 124 doesn't have a decimal, so you add it in and put the placeholders in. Okay, we're now going to move on to our morning reasoning. There's 3 questions here, a range of different topics. Write your missing numbers in that sequence. Question 2, each side of the number balance has the same answer. Write in what the missing number would be. Each side of the number balance needs to have the same answer. And question 3, how many vertices does a cylinder have? Please pause the video now and have a go at answering all 3 of those questions. Okay, I'm going to start going through the answers. Make sure you've paused the video and you're ready to mark with a different coloured pen. So obviously question 1, we're just subtracting 5 each time. Your missing numbers were 37 and 27. For question 2, I'm going to go through this one with you. You needed to balance it so that both sides were equal. So you've got to imagine it as an equal sign. First, what is 100 take away 70? 100 take away 70 is 30. That means on this side it needs to be equivalent to 30. 5 times what makes 30? 5 times 6. And then we're looking at our cylinder. How many vertices does a cylinder have? A vertex is where 2 or more sides meet on a 2D shape, and on a 3D shape it's where 3 or more sides or edges are meeting. On a cylinder, it's quite a unique shape as it doesn't have any vertices. There's no point on this cylinder where 3 or more edges are meeting. Therefore, a cylinder has 0 vertices. In terms of faces, it's got 1 circle there and another circle there, and then a rectangular face all around. So that's 3 faces. In terms of edges, again, it has got some edges. It's got 1 here and 1 here. It's got 2 edges, but it actually has no vertices. All right, we're going to get started with today's learning of Roman numerals. What I'd like you to do is write today's WALT. Your do now, just like in other lessons, is going to be needed throughout the rest of the lesson. So if I were you, I might make it in a different colour. I might draw a neat box around it to make it really stand out. Maybe I would highlight some of the information. However you want to present it to make sure it's clear for you throughout the rest of the lesson. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a box around mine to make sure, I'm presenting it really neatly. I might do it in different colours. I might use a highlighter box. It's completely up to you. But what are each of these symbols? If you don't remember, don't write it down because I'll go through them in a moment, and we want to make sure you actually have this information accurately. So pause the video now for the date, the WALT, and that do now, which will help you throughout the rest of the lesson. So hopefully the majority of these symbols, it is revision for you. You know them already. If you weren't sure, don't worry, I'm going to go through them with you now. We all should have got the first couple though, because we've been doing these Roman numeral symbols since year 4. I stands for 1, V for 5, X for 10, L is 50, and C is 100. These ones are a little bit trickier, but if we look at the pattern 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, we can guess that D is going to be following that pattern 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. It's 500 and M is 1000. So the thing you need to remember about Roman numerals is we actually only have the digits or the symbols for 1, 5 or the powers of 10 of those. 10, 100, 1000, there's even a symbol for 10,000. And similarly with 5, we've got 5, 50, 500, and there's even a symbol for 5,000. Okay, so hopefully you have all of those Roman numerals written out. However you've presented it, make sure it pops and it stands out for you throughout the rest of the lesson. We're going to do some practice together. I think Roman numerals is definitely the sort of thing where you need to see a few examples before you have a go by yourself. So please do just make sure you're really paying attention. If you want to, you can start having a go by yourself. But first, I'm just going to explain to you and show you the very, very simple pattern and system that Roman numerals use. We've already mentioned that in Roman numerals, you only have digits that represent the multiples or the powers of 10 of 1 and 5. Write 1 and 5, I can write 10 and 50, I can write 100 and 500. The other numbers are a little bit more complex. The two digits that I really want you to pay attention to in today's lesson are 4 and 9, and I'm going to explain why in a moment. So when we're doing our Roman numerals, we know it follows this pattern. 1, we just write 1. To show 2, we put I like that. That's 2 of them, and 3, I. But this is where the pattern changes, and it's why the number 4 needs to have special attention. You can only ever have 3 of the same symbol in a row. So you get 1, 2, 3, and then you have to move. I know that 5 is represented with a V. So for 4, remember, for 4 and for 9, they're the ones that are going to stand out in this column here. 4 we represent as 1 before 5. Okay, so it goes 1, 2, 3, and then 4. We'll switch to 1 before 5, and then we'll have 5. So for the next group of 5, we've got 6, which is 1 after 5, 7, we've got 2, and 8. But then we're getting to 9, and we need to remember, okay, I can't have 4 ones in a row. To write I is not possible. So remember, instead of doing it as after, we explain it as it's coming before this one. 1 before 10 is 9, IX. Similarly, 11XI, 12XI, 13XI. 14 though, remember, I cannot have XI. I need to flip to, okay, 15 would be 1, 10 and 1, 5. 14 is 1, 10 and 4 is IV. So hopefully you can see that the only column really that you need to pay special attention to are the 4s and the 9s. And if you remember that, that should help you. This pattern first row is followed throughout the whole of the numeral system. For example, if I were to show you the hundreds, it would be 100, 200, CC, 300. But remember, 400, I can't write CCC. I need to remember what 500 is. 500 is a D. So to show 400, it's not going to be C, 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 and it's not going to be ID. That's 1 before 100. I need to write it as 100 before 500, CD. Okay? Similarly, it happens the same with the thousands, it happens with the 50s, it happens with all of those that we follow that pattern. You can't have 4 in a row. Right, we're going to go through now, we're going to look at some examples of how you might represent these numbers. So the other thing that you need to remember about Roman numerals is they strictly follow place value. For example, if I want to write the number 99, I can't write that 1 before 100. Yes, it is 1 before 100, but that's not how they thought. They followed place value. You'd have to show 90 and then 9. 90 is 10 before 100 and 9 is 1 before 9. XC, IX. Yes, I know IC would be easier and quicker, but that's not the way the Romans did it. They use place value just like we do today because it helps when you're adding and subtracting and all of that sort of thing. So you've just got to remember when you're looking at your Roman numerals, it uses place value. Do it first, your hundreds, tens and ones. So if I were to write the number 134, and again, if you want to have a go at these whilst I'm going through the lesson, please go for it. Have a piece of scrap paper, get writing them down. First, I'd start with 100. We know 100 is C. Okay, 30, we know that's in the tens column, and we know it's 3 tens. I know I can do 3 tens in a row. So that's X, X, X. Now when I get onto 4, 4 and 9 are the ones I need to be careful of. 4, I don't write I need to write IV. 134. Okay, that's how we need to do it, splitting it down into the place value. Right. So we're going to have a look at some of these numbers. So first we're going to convert, then we'll do a little race. Make sure you've got a piece of paper and a pen to have a go. So converting 25. Those of you who are feeling confident, you go ahead and you do it without me. Those of you who want to go slowly and watch me do it a couple more times, absolutely fine. We're going to stick to below 100 for now. When I'm looking at 25, remember, split it into your place value. How would I show 20? That's 2 tens. X, X. And now for 5, I know is V. 25. Okay, showing 13. That's 1 10, X and 3 ones. I can have 3 ones like that. Okay, let's have a look at these ones. In these ones, we've got the digits 9 and the digits 4 appearing, so we need to remember the different way of showing it. Again, place values. Start with 20. You know how to show 20. That's 10, 20. Now I need to represent 9. Remember, 9 I need to show as 1 before. 9 is 1 before 10. XX, IX, 29. This one then, 14. First do your 10s, X. Now your 1s, 4, IV. Okay, what we're going to do now is we are going to have a race. Okay, I'm going to write some numbers down on this piece of paper. I'm then going to give you a 5-second head start. Don't pause the video. You're going to see if you convert them before me. There are going to be 3 questions on your piece of paper. Just write down whether or not you beat me in the race. So I repeat the rules. I'm going to write these numbers down, and you can get started as soon as I've started writing them down. Once I've written down the numbers, I'm going to give you a 5-second start, and then I'm going to start converting. Let's see who can finish them first. Okay, so your numbers are 32, 49, and 102. You can start now. I'm going to give you that 5-second head start. See if you can beat me. 5, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start now. I hope you're working quickly. 32, 49, 10 before 50, 1 before 10, and 102. CII. Okay, I've finished. Hopefully you have finished. Let's compare our answers. If you beat me, write down on your piece of paper, I beat Miss Graham in the race. If you did not beat me, don't worry. We're going to go through the answers now. Hopefully you had a go at them. Okay, 32 was nice and simple. 3 10s and 2 1s. 49 a little bit trickier. 40, remember, we can't write 4 10s. So we have to write 10 before 50. And then 9, 1 before 10. Now finally, my last one, 102. If you beat me, well done. Really good job. I've had a lot of practice at Roman numerals, so it's very impressive if you were able to beat me. Okay. You might also be asked to go in the opposite direction. Okay, so in these questions, you need to convert the Roman numerals into digits. And personally, I think it's a little bit trickier this way because you can't always see the place value so clearly. However, normally you can tell when your place value changes if you have a smaller unit. So here I can see I've got 10s and I've got my 1s. So that's 2 10s, which is 20, and 3 1s, which is 3. In this question, I can see I've got 50 and 10. 50 and 10 must go together then. 50 and 10 is 60. And here I've got 2 1s. So that's 62. It gets a bit harder again when you've got your 9 and your 1. So what I would always do is read out what I've got. I've got 10 and 100. 10 is smaller than 100. Therefore, they must go together. That's 10 before 100. 10 before 100 is 90. And now I've got 1 before 10. Again, because I've got the smaller digit first, that tells me it's either 4 or 9. 1 before 10, 9. 99 there. Have a look at this one then. I've got 10, 50. They must go together then because 10 is smaller than 50. And then I've got 5, 1, 1, 1. They'll go together as well. Okay. When you say the values of each digit out loud, you'll realize which ones go together. 10 before 50 is 40. 5, 6, 7, 8. 48. Okay, we're going to do another race. This time I'm going to write the numbers in Roman numerals. Same as before, you're trying to beat me. There will be 3 questions. You can get started as soon as I've written my first question, but you are trying to beat me. I will give you a 5 seconds once I finish writing the questions, and then I will start. Don't pause the video, play it in real time. Okay, here's your first one. You can get started as soon as I finish writing it. Okay, now I'm giving you 5 seconds. And now I'm trying to catch you up. 3 10s. Okay, I've finished. Did you beat me? If you did, write it down. If you didn't, don't worry, we'll go through them now. When I was doing it, I marked out my place value to help me. I started with 3 10s and 3 1s, that's 33. The next one, X is smaller than L, so that means they go together, 40, and I is smaller than X, 9. Here, X is smaller than, sorry, 10 is smaller than 100. They go together, that's 90. And then we've got VIII, 98. Well done if you beat me, very impressed. As I say, I've got lots of practice with this. We're now going to have a look at when we're going slightly larger. So remember now, so far we've been using digits up to 100. So we've used 1, 5, 10, 50 and 100. Don't forget though, now we also know D is equal to 500 and M is equal to 1000. Using those digits, we'll be able to convert some larger numbers, okay? You should hopefully have these written down on your piece of paper so that you can constantly refer to them. And if I were you, I might also write down any numbers that you find tricky. For example, at some point, if you found it difficult to work out what 40 was, write down 40. If you keep forgetting how to write 90, write down what 90 is. So 40 is 10 before 50, 90 is 10 before 100. Write those numbers down that you're finding hard to follow so that it can help you. All right, we're going to move on then, looking at these larger numbers. You break them down into their place value again, okay? So with this number, I've got 2 in my thousands, that's 2000s. M, sorry, the presentation there is very poor. My pen didn't work for some reason. Okay, so that's 1000, 2000. Now in my hundreds column, I've got 200s, so that's going to be 200, 100, 200. Now in my tens, I've got 50. That's a 5, so I know it's just one letter, it's L. And then in my ones column, I've got 3 ones, I. Break it down into the place value, use what you know, remember 4 and 9 are trickier digits, and you will be fine. Let's have a look at this one then. Break it down into the place value first. If you want to have a go at this one, you can have a go at this one. Pause the video, just pause me whenever you want and have a go. Otherwise, I'll go through this one for you. So in the thousands, it's 3000. I can have 3 digits next to each other, 1000, 2000, 3000. 4 in my hundreds column. That's a little bit trickier. And again, if you want to write down how to write 400, I would do that. I know 4 is 1 before 5. 40 is 10 before 50. 400, this is going to be a little bit harder. It's not 10 or 1 before, it's 100 before 500. So my 400s is CD, 100 before 500. Now in my tens column, I've got 80. So that's 50, 60, 70, 80. And finally, in my ones column, I've got that 9. Remember, 9 is a tricky one as well. That's 1 before 10. Okay, I do recommend writing down these trickier ones, and also you could put 9 like that, 90 like that, and then 900 would be 100 before 1000 there. Okay, I do recommend writing these tougher ones down as well, just to help you out if you need to. Okay, this one, have a go at first, and then I'll go through it. Please pause the video and have a go at this one. I do think it's important to have a go first before I go through it. Remember, the trick is to split it into its different place values and remember those harder ones. I'm going to go through now. In my thousands, I've got 2000s. M. 400. Remember, that's 100 before 500. CD. Now I'm looking for 70. So that's 50, 60, 70. And now I'm looking for 3. I. Gosh, isn't it much easier just to write 2473? What a lot of letters there. Okay. When you're going the other way as well, it's easier if it has been shown to you, those place values. But remember, as soon as you have a small digit before a larger digit, that tells you they go together. Okay, so going the other way, first you look in your thousands column. There's 3000 here. Now I look in my hundreds, 200. In my, I don't know why I've drawn a comma there. In my tens, that's 10 before 100, telling me that's 90. And in my ones, 1. Okay, as soon as you see M, that tells you you're looking for a digit in its thousands. So don't get confused if you see, for example, MI. That means I've got 1000 and I've got 1. That's not 11 though. Remember, you need to have your placeholders, 1001. Okay, have a go at writing down this one. It's been split up for you into colours for the different place values. So you've got your thousands, your hundreds, your tens and your ones. What is this number? Okay, I'm going to go through. Oh, yep, I'm going to go through it now. So in your thousands, you've got 2000. In your hundreds, that's D, that's 500, and C is 100. 500 add 100 is 600. In your tens, that's 50, 60, 70. And in your ones, 1 before 10 is 9, 2679. Let's have a look now then. You can see this one hasn't been split into its colours. But whenever you see a smaller place value digit, that shows that you've moved on. So we've got MM. That shows me that's the thousands. Now I've got CM. Small before big tells me they go together. LXXX, so that's 50, 60, 70, 80, they go together. And IX, small, big, they go together. So breaking that down, that's 2000. Here, that's 100 before 1000. 100 before 1000. Remember, you should have written down these harder ones. It's 900. 50, 60, 70, 80, and 9. 2,989. I'm going to show you your independent work now. Hopefully, somewhere on your piece of paper, you've written down all of the tricky numbers that you found difficult. I would recommend doing the work from the video, as I'm going to go through some extra challenges with you. So in this first one, you just need to match up the pairs. So in your book, write number 1, and then the first one, just write all 4 pairs. So this number is equal to this number. In your second group of questions, one of those numbers is impossible. I want you to work out which one is impossible and solve the rest of them, A, B, C, D, and E. And then for question 3, write these English numerals or these digits as Roman numerals. Remember to break it down into your tens, hundreds, and thousands. Pause the video and have a go at these questions. Just to make it clear, this lesson is not yet finished. Please keep on watching the video. It's not finished until I say thank you so much for all of your hard work. Don't forget to upload it onto Seesaw. Okay, the next group of questions then, moving on to your bigger numbers. Again, at first, I'm showing you where it gets broken down to help you out. Write these Roman numerals in digits and write these digits as Roman numerals. The lesson is still not finished, so please keep on watching. We have not gone through the answers yet or looked at the other questions, but with these harder ones, remember to pause the video, look back at your notes and have a go at these ones. Okay, and then we're just going to have a look at your apply and reasoning questions. Everyone should be able to do these reasoning questions. You need to explain them in sentences. So for apply, you've got a date here on a calendar. What month is shown? What year is shown? And then your challenge, or the next question, is to write today's date in Roman numerals. Today's date, you'll be doing this lesson on the 3rd, so it's the 3rd of the 3rd, 2021. Okay, your reasoning challenge, question 1 says CC is bigger than M because it has 2 letters. Explain why this is incorrect. It is incorrect because Question 2, Simon says that 400 is CCCC because C is equal to 100. Explain why he is wrong. Please pause the video and have a go at those questions. You need to make sure you listen to the end of the video because we're going to go through the answers and the trickier examples. Okay, I'm going to start going through the answers now. I've picked out some trickier examples I'd like to go through. So the easy ones have been done, and then I'm going to go through the harder examples. So for that first question, I think 305 and 125 were easier, but then 65 and 45, just make sure you're paying attention. That's 10 before 50, that's the 40, and that's 10 after 50, that's 60. Okay, for these ones then, the ones where it was broken down for you have been done, but this one is 200, you've got CC, and then X before C, that's 90, and then VIII, that's 8. Here we've got 100, and here we've got 1 before 10, that's 9. It's not 19 though, it's 109. Make sure you're putting your placeholders in. Okay, looking at this next one, 100, 200, so that's 200. Moving down now, LC, that's 50, 100. This is the question that was not possible. Well done to those of you who spotted this question as the not possible question. Very impressed. Hopefully you wrote that down. Okay, and then just looking down at the bottom part of this page. Oops. I'm just going to move everything up a second. Sorry, for some reason we've hidden them. Okay, now I need to show 298. So 100, 200, now 90, that's 10 before 100, and now 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next one, 389, that's 300. 80 would be 50, 60, 70, 80, and 9 I know is 1 before 10. Okay, I know some of these questions are quite tricky for some of you, but it's important to have a go and don't forget to watch the answers. I'm going to go through the rest of the answers now. Okay, these ones where it's broken down for you, I've shown you already, but these ones I'm going to go through. That's 1 in the thousands, 2 in the hundreds, that's 50, and that's 5, 1,255. Here we've got 1,000, D, remember, is 500. X is 110 and IX is 9 ones. Down here then, we're needing to write these numbers in their Roman numerals. So let's have a look. We've got 2000 first, that's M. 400, remember, is one of the ones I recommend writing down. So that's 100 before 500. 80 is 50, 60, 70, 80, and now 2. 3000, M. 900, that's 100 before 1000. 80, L, X, 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 and 7, V, I. What a faff. Okay, and looking at this last one then, 2015, 2000, no 100, so we just write nothing, 110 and 15, MMXV. Moving on to the apply questions now. May 1986, you would write it up here. It's the 3rd, when you're doing this lesson, the 3rd of the 3rd, 2021. CC is bigger than M because it has 2 letters. Well, that's obviously incorrect because M is worth 1,000 and C is only worth 100. Therefore, CC is 200. And then finally, you can't have 4 C's in a row. So to write 400, you'd have to write CD 100 before 400. Now the lesson is finished. Well done, everyone who has tried their hardest, worked really, really hard, and make sure you upload your marked work onto Seesaw so that your teachers can see all of the excellent work you have done. I've been really impressed with everyone's work this term, and we've only got 2 more maths lessons before we're back in school. So well done, keep it up. Bye.